I think most business owners are using AI completely wrong, not because they are lazy, not because they are behind, but because they are treating AI like a toy instead of it actually being part of the business. And honestly, that will change everything. Because once you stop using AI for random questions and start using it as an actual infrastructure, your business will start to feel very, very different. Cleaner, faster, more organized, less mentally heavy. And for me, the biggest shift happened when I started using Claude properly, not as a chatbot, but as an actual business operating system. So in this video, I'm going to give you the complete beginner's guide to using Claude for your business. Not in terms of just having hype, no complicated tech setup, no 100 prompts that you need, just what Claude actually is, how business owners are really using it, what changes when you actually use it properly, and how I'd set it up if I was going to basically start today. The biggest mistake most people make with AI is they are using it really reactively. They will open ChatGPT or Claude when they are stuck. They will ask it a random question. They will generate a few things and then they will just leave. And that is why AI starts to feel really inconsistent for most businesses, because there is no structure around it. There's no system, there's no workflow, and there's no operational thinking. The businesses gain real value from AI and not just using prompts. They are building processes around what they are currently doing. That is the difference. And Claude is especially powerful for this because it is very good at long-term context thinking, understanding context, organizing information, processing documents, and helping basically structure all of your business operations, which is why more serious operators are going to be moving towards it. Not because it's trendy, because it's just useful. So before we talk about workflows, let us make something really, really clear. Claude is not magic. And honestly, if you expect it to run your business entirely without you doing anything with it, you're probably going to be disappointed quickly. Where Claude becomes powerful is when you use it for thinking, for organization, for systems, for communication, and also operational leverage. That is where it will really shine. For example, turning messy notes into structured plans, summarizing meetings, writing follow-ups, organizing SOPs, structuring onboarding documents, improving internal communication, content repurposing, project planning, and turning scattered information into clear actions. That is real business value. And once you start thinking like that, Claude stops feeling like an AI tool and starts feeling like an actual operational second brain. The first thing Claude massively improves is clarity of thought, without question. I genuinely think that it is the most underrated use case, which a lot of people don't actually speak about, because most business owners are carrying so much in their heads: the ideas, the tasks, the client details, the strategy, the problems, the decisions, and everything becomes mentally really noisy. Claude will basically help reduce that noise. For example, let's say that you are overwhelmed. You can literally dump all your thoughts into Claude, say it, organize it into priorities, put it into how you get through these bottlenecks, and also build actions off it. And then suddenly what felt messy before becomes structured. And that is so powerful for a business owner. And maybe you have scattered meeting notes, random ideas, or unfinished plans or projects, or half-built workflows, or ideas that never even come to fruition. Claude's going to be able to execute that and turn chaos into clarity in literally seconds. And honestly, that is where all the value lies for business owners. The second big use case is operations. And this is where things start to get really practical, because business owners waste an unbelievable amount of time on repetitive operational work. Follow-ups, onboarding, communication, summaries, internal documents, task organization, reporting, SOP creation, status updates. Claude is going to reduce all that friction literally within seconds. So for example, after a client call, instead of manually writing up actions, follow-up emails, onboarding, next step, internal notes, you can literally structure it with Claude within seconds. And that will compound fast across every single department in your business. And maybe your team constantly asks, where's the document, or where's the process, or where's the latest update? Claude can help you centralize all of the information that you've got in the entirety of your full business. And again, that is where your business will start to feel calmer, not because AI has replaced you or replaced people, because it removes the unnecessary operational chaos that comes with running a business. The third major area is communication and content. Now, personally, I do not believe that Claude should replace your voice, and that is really important, but it is also incredibly useful for organizing content ideas, improving structure, repurposing content, refining messaging, and speeding up your execution. For example, you can take a client call or a sales call or a Loom or a podcast or a rough idea and turn it into every single type of marketing post that you can do within seconds. And that is leverage, because for small teams, because again, when it comes to content creation, it's difficult and it's normally operational, really heavy, Claude will reduce that weight for you. And that is a huge distinction. So if I was starting from scratch today, this is how I would set Claude up for my business in the most simple format known to man. First, I'd stop thinking about prompts and start thinking about actual systems. I'd create a separate workflow for operations, for content, for client delivery, for sales, and for planning. Then I'd start to feed Claude all the documents, all the processes, all the examples, all the templates, and all the context, because Claude will get dramatically better when it understands your business. And that is where most people fail. They will use AI with zero context and then wonder why the output feels generic and sounds like everyone else. The more context that Claude has about your tone, your systems, your workflows, your processes, and your business, the more useful that it will become. And that is where the real unlock lies. And that is probably the single most important part. So what actually changes when you use Claude properly? Your business will feel lighter. That is the only way and the best way that I could actually describe it. You will be less reactive, less scattered, and less mentally exhausted. You will stop relying on memory for everything. You will stop rebuilding processes constantly. You will stop losing information across all your different tools, and you'll stop repeating the same work manually. And instead, you'll start operating with systems without even having a systems mindset. And that's a big shift for a lot of business owners. It's not a case of AI will write this email and AI will do this. The shift is your business will become easier to run because it can support you with every single area, not just complete an easy basic task for you. And that is where I think a lot of business owners are still missing the point with AI. They think AI is just about replacing work, but really the best use case scenario is just reducing friction. And that is where the real value is, alongside building the intelligence that you will have over time as well. And honestly, most businesses will struggle with AI because they will approach it backwards. They start with tools, they start with prompts, they start with automations, and start with hacks. Instead, I want you to start thinking about what are the actual operational problems that you experience in your business at the moment. That is where people make the mistake. The better question is, what is really heavy for me in my business right now? What is taking up so much time? And what can I get AI in to do for me right now, specifically in my company, to get me more time back? Because once you start to focus on those type of areas, everything else will start to become a hell of a lot easier. And that is how serious operators are going to approach this, because they buy the time back, get the ROI high ROI area, and then they insert those high ROI areas back into new ideas that they've not had time to do before. And I genuinely think the next generation of business owners will be operating completely differently, like smaller teams, better systems, less manual work, faster execution, more organized operations. And AI will quietly sit underneath all of it, not replacing people, but supporting the infrastructure and also the people within it. And that is why I think Claude matters so much. Not because it's another chatbot, because it will help businesses think better, organize better, communicate better, and operate better. And that is a much bigger shift than just using it for quick reactive tasks. So if you're just getting started with Claude, do not overcomplicate it. You don't need to feed it 500 prompts or crazy automations or some giant AI stack. Start simple. Use Claude to organize thinking, reduce repetitive work, improve communication, like build a better system. Use it even just as a daily diary and dump, and you'll see what I mean. And that is where there'll be a massive shift. And honestly, once business owners experience the operational clarity, you'll never go back to doing what you're doing before. So for me, if you can read, copy, paste, and you can just follow basic level instructions, I can show you how to set up AI systems that would normally operate at over £100,000 a month in projects, co-work, and different AI systems compared to what you'd have to pay people and staff wages. So if you do want to work directly one-to-one with me and find out how you can insert that into your business, there's a link in the description, and I'll see you on the next video.